welcome everybody to the Onward VR Master League Season 11, Week 1. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. I'm joined by my co-caster, Theta. Theta, how are you doing today for this hype matchup?
I am excellent. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, it's going to be Ember versus Raptors coming at you. Two high-tier, like high-octane yeah, geez, these are diamond teams that there's a lot of hype surrounding. I mean, when you look at the votes on the website, I think what was it? It was a 35 hype votes, 72 votes in the favor of Raptors, 25 to Ember. So the crowd favoring this Raptors squad. And I mean, what's interesting is when you look at it, they're going up against Ember, you know, and I really would have thought the vote would go to Ember here in this matchup.
Well, I think that is partly due to the growth of the league. There's a lot of newer players, and they're far more familiar with Raptors. And I think Raptors are sort of aspirational to a lot of the newer teams because, hey, let's face it, they did a great thing last season. Right. They came in at the 1.8 break, and with about half a season, they got to Diamond. They got to number 11 within that time. Right. So I think a lot of newer teams look up to them. But to your point, Ember's been around for a long time. These are veteran players. I played against these guys many times, and they are always tough. So, personally, I think the voting is a little too one-sided, and we will see that unfold in this game. Yeah, it tends to happen. I think it's sort of a trend that we see on the votes where sort of the crowd votes with each other. You know, they see one team start to get favored, and then everybody puts their votes in because, hey, there's people that are trying to get, you know, very solid connoisseur percentage. Some people are putting in votes for every match. Yeah, it's crazy. It's all tracked too, which is great. It's a great little mini game in there. But hey, we got to discuss the game, the real game in front of us, Theta. It's I don't know. I'm stoked for a lot of reasons. Season 11 has me hyped. The pick bans coming out today are. They got me excited about this series. I mean, honestly, coming in from Ember, we have the Downfall ban, and coming in from Raptors, we have the Snow Peak ban. Two of the long-range maps off the table, and we're kicking it off with Sand, a new map to the VRML that we've never. I mean, we've seen it in the custom maps tournament, but I mean, your thoughts, Theta, on this map? This one is interesting because in some ways I get why they would pick this. It's a bit of an equalizer because, yes, Raptors are aggressive, and Ember, I think, is maybe a little less so. They are an aggressive team, but not quite at the same level of aggression. So this way you can say, look, we're both aggressive teams, but neither of us is going to have much of a map knowledge advantage because we've both been playing it for roughly the same amount of time. Whereas on the more traditional, longer range maps, I think Ember could have very easily taken advantage of that situation because they've just been around longer and they know that they can get an advantage just by virtue of their experience.
Yeah, I mean, when you get into these new maps, you get that chaos of the unknown, which is what I love to see, and I like to see how these veteran teams adapt to some of these new maps. I mean, you have Sand, you have USS Quest. I think there's one more there that I'm blanking on. That's a custom map that's available. But then, go ahead.
I was just going to say those are the only two.
Okay, those are the only two custom.
Yep.
Yeah, but that shifts, like you're saying, in the middle half of the season and then towards the end, which is it's just going to add so much needed variety to the map pool that we've never seen in so many seasons of Onward. I mean, it's been 10 seasons, 5 years of Onward where we haven't had a rotating map pool during the regular season, and now we're, in my opinion, finally getting it. It's something that I think's been a long time coming, Theta, and I the variety it adds is just so exciting as a commentator because you really get to see what a team's made of. You get to see how coordinated is a squad when they get challenged with new spaces and on top of new maps. I mean, we got new objectives on the old maps too. Some of those new objectives kind of crazy.
It's truly a test of the fundamentals more than anything.
Which is what I love to see. And I mean, you talk about the fundamentals, new fundamentals implemented. You got smokes, we got C4s, the shield out of rotation. We are into round number 1 of map 1, Ember versus Raptors. Thank you all for tuning in and hanging out. I think Today is a truly a VRML weekend. Tons of casts going on. A lot of Echo Arena, a lot of Onward. I think we have a dual cast going right now. So if you want to get a multi-stream up, you can always catch the other games live, I believe, by Mono, Etch, and James Boak, all hopping in for a cast on VRML 2. Always got to get those multi-streams up, Theta.
It's mandatory. Oh, and what a layout the Raptors have on defense. 4 directly on objective, and then Marksman, the sole flanker in the center. And he doesn't appear to be trying anything terribly aggressive. He looks more like he's an early warning system because he's in a good position to hear people as they come around on that side.
Yeah, maybe C4 placed somewhere along that wall. I'm not sure. I didn't see it get tossed out. They also have Mason down there who could throw some nades up and over down into that lane. Marksman obviously can drop utility out the window as well. Mason nearly goes down to Lionheart as he takes some shots just through that little doorway. Switch also moving up on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, I've been probing around looking for a C4. I think you're probably right about that. I think Marksman likely deployed something over there as he is running a specialist class at the moment. Yeah, and they have no way of knowing that he's up there. Lionheart and Hailfire now directly below Marksman. Oh, Lionheart's about to run right into him, too, if he keeps going up to this roof.
Hailfire finds one. Distorted scoops up another on the backside. Lionheart flies past Marksman. Marksman gets that shot. Has to find 2 more now. J-Lo here. Hailfire just beneath. He doesn't seem to be hearing that as he gets the confirm and continues to tuck in. Hailfire swings inside. Marksman not ready for it. Down he goes. Chaos in the meanwhile on the opposite end of the map as Switch tries to gain entry and Distorted continues to deny.
Yeah, this is the spice we signed up for. So 3v3. Getting close to the halfway mark of this round. And Raptors are staying very tight on the objective.
Switch is going for a rotation. Maybe going to swing around and reinforce J-Lo and Hailfire. Try and make an entry for him for the other side. Hailfire finds one on the ramp. Distorted goes down trying to cover Switch's old entry point. And now Redux and Soldiers, the lone defenders of this Raptors defense. Wow, what a entry from that Ember squad. A fantastically coordinated 3-pronged attack into the objective room to overwhelm the Raptors defense. And like you said, Theta, this is the spice that we're here for. Off to the races.
Wow, the only word I can think of for that last 3-prong attack was clean, because it was 3v3. Hailfire started firing to give cover. They had a smoke going, which gave audio cover as well, and then they just closed in on them, just like a boa constrictor coming in on its prey. It was beautiful. And
yeah,
Hailfire, now he's 4 kills on that round, so really doing work for Ember as well.
And you know, this is what I'm the first week, you know, also really exciting because you just don't know what you're gonna get, and you don't know really what teams have put in that extra effort in what has been a 4-month offseason. I mean, plenty of time to work strats over a lot of these custom maps because they have been out for a while. Players have been playing on them in the custom map tournament for a few weeks, so not necessarily unfamiliar to these squads. And you know, this first week is a real test of who's been putting in the work. You know, just the other day we had Peacekeepers playing against Animal House, and Peacekeepers certainly seem to have been putting in the work. They were playing very coordinated, much like Ember just did there in round 1. Of course, at Diamond level, you can't make any assumptions off of the first round. Who knows what Raptors are going to bring to the attack? This objective kind of tricky to defend. I mean, what is your recommended style here, Theta?
It's a tough one because if you try and pop out too much, you do run the risk of leaving that objective open. I've played plenty of rounds in comp lobbies where that's happened. So I don't think the Raptors were necessarily wrong about that. It's just, it's a tough objective to defend. Like you said, you just have to hope that they don't have that kind of coordination that Ember has, and they don't smoke and do cover fire very well, which is, that's a tough pill to swallow when you're fighting against a diamond level team.
It seems we're going to get a relatively spread out defense. Quokka and JLo at least going to be sitting here in the middle building, one to the bottom floor and JLo up top. Quokka's pushing forward very aggressively here. He may run into Distorted and Mason around the gate. There's the double.
Wow. Just a wild play. Wow. 2 off the board already for Raptors, and we're just about to hit the 30-second mark. That, I have to say, aside from just the material disadvantage that gives you, it's just so psychologically devastating to look at your tablet that early in the round and realize you lost one of your squads.
Yeah. You hear it, and it's, yeah, the worst case scenario. At the same time, it's quite a boost. If you're Ember, you have a 1-0 lead, and you've just kicked off round 2 with a nice 5v3 advantage. And JLo now positioned to challenge the rest of this offense from Raptors as marksmen, soldiers, and Redux do swing over to this west side of the map. And geez, if JLo just peeks up into that window, he might be able to find a couple of picks. At the same time, Redux is watching it like a hawk.
Interesting. Quokka just gave a call out, but I don't think there's anybody near him. He must have just been hearing himself. Raptors now going for a little bit of an encirclement. Soldiers coming around the backside. Although Hailfire, oh, never mind. I thought he was in that hallway. He is not. So Soldiers will have that entire back hallway area to himself, assuming that Switch doesn't rotate back. And this could get ugly, believe it or not. Even after all that's happened in this round so far, if they can get onto the objective, there's only 2 there. If they have fast cappers on board, this could get ugly real quick.
Yeah, I think Redux continues on that path. He's going to run into JLo. Ooh, shots from Marksman on towards Quokka. Redux getting danger close to JLo there in the corner, who is really tucked in. Quokka finds Marksman. Redux swings around, can't get JLo in the corner. And now Raptors are left with FG Soldiers in a 1v5. But to your point, kind of a 1v2.
Everybody's really spread out, and I can tell you from experience too, Soldier is one of those guys who rushes in. He's very good at aggressive plays, even with multiple opponents. So he could go in and clear that room out. And I don't know that anybody here is in a position to rotate fast enough. Well, Switch could potentially do it, but if Switch doesn't, then it's pretty much game if Soldiers can cap quickly. And I don't know. We'll see. It's still tough. They've got 5 up. He has a long way to go.
I got movement just to the south of the radio, possibly in the south tunnels.
Footsteps here now. Yep, Hailfire's calmed that in.
Yeah, Switch rotating back now. Okay, so that window of opportunity, I think, is pretty much vanished now.
Yeah, and he had some time to play with there, but as soon as Switch peeked to the corner, he was super exposed and catches that kill on a nice rotation. Good comms from Ember. And they are looking quite clean in these first 2 rounds here on sand. I guess it's important to remember this is Ember's map pick, right? So obviously a map that they have practiced or at the very least are comfortable on. And so, you know, can't count Raptors out yet. They're just a defense and a cap away from having a lead, but this Ember squad is certainly looking good here in these first 2 rounds.
Ember is looking fantastic right now, and they clearly have figured out some things about this map. Like Quokka's push up into that center garage area, the Raptors just weren't ready for that. It looked to me like Quokka had experience doing that, knew exactly where to go. And in that spot that both the Raptors and Ember used, kind of on top of that middle building in that little, I don't know what to call it, that room on the roof, that seems to be a pretty meta spot for that objective now, as people just keep getting killed over there.
our next objective shifting us into the heart of the map. Yeah, and this is... I mean, Theta, how do you... Dude, I suppose you could take it interior defense if you wanted to, right?
I think this one is particularly dangerous to get too tucked in on because you can shoot down and you can even drop down from the roof. So it's pretty important that, yeah, you have people in the room, but it's... I think a perimeter defense tends to be better, maybe even push somebody out a little bit. I think it just in particular with these team dynamics, it's going to be important for both of them to get in the face of the other team early, like Quokka was doing on the last round. Because these are both very aggressive teams, and you want to take away the initiative from them whenever you can.
Absolutely. Pushing up here. Oh, this looks familiar. Another charge forward. Doesn't quite swing out, but is tucked in here. Letting this whole team pass. One goes by. J-Lo gets the quick refrag. Here comes the charge in a trade in the doorway. This is an incredibly quick push from Ember. They want to take control of objective room. Massino inside has to hold. Swings wide. Catches one. Catches two. Down in a double, and they are holding on. In a flash, there's the push in, and Massino prevents Quokka from capping in the corner. A crazy quick Ember's offensive push results in Raptors just barely holding on. I think that was, what, a 45-second round?
It was quick. It was real quick.
I mean, with sand, that's what you can get. You know, it's not a big map. This is a pretty close quarters map. If you decide to sprint right at each other, you're gonna meet almost in the middle. You know, like it's that was certainly fortunate, really, for the Raptors team. They could have lost a lot more with that early push out from Distorted. That would have been bad news.
Well, I think what very likely could have happened if they hadn't lost, if they had even one more person up, Quokka jumped through the roof and he was capping. He had his tablet out. He was punching the code in. And if Massino had been occupied with somebody else, that was map for sure. Because Quokka, if you've ever played against him, you know he's quick. He gets on that objective and it's a couple of seconds and it's game over. So that was, I mean, hats off to him for trying that. That was an extremely audacious offensive play. Just didn't quite work out for them.
That's what you love to see, and that takes practice to be able to execute a quick entry like that, and I mean, nearly have several, people capping on an objective. That quite the entry. Now I want to see here what Raptors are gonna do. You know, we're gonna get, I guess, really mirrored spawns. I can't imagine that there's that much variety here on these spawn points, and so Raptors, if they so choose, could sprint right at objective room.
Like if you saw what Quokka was trying to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that surprised if that's exactly what they did.
Last round. I got killed by fucking fire and somebody shooting at me.
Looks like Def Redux is going for a little bit of a flank, but otherwise they're going towards the objective pretty quick. Although Marksman Soldier is doing a little bit more recon. No, I think this is going to be a little more reserved of an offense. I think they're waiting for Quokka, who has, in fact, rushed out. I think Massino has spotted him. He seems to be moving pretty cautiously through the garage area.
Yeah, I think Marksman.
Now.
I think Marksman tagged him once, and he heard the from the bullet and making impact. He's gonna go up. He's gonna challenge it. Swings in and finds the kill. Surprises Quokka with the entry.
Got garage.
Hailfire gets 2. And that brings the Raptors down to 3 left. They're all on roughly the same side of the map. They have rotated a little bit, but actually Distorted coming in from the flank. There's a smoke now on the roof, which will give at least some audio cover for Hailfire, who's up there.
Ooh, and Masino's doing a good job to distract. Nade comes up and over. That's not going to find any purchase. Distorted has the back of Hailfire if he goes up and looks for it. There's the kill, and now you got to be a little bit worried about the entry from the roof if you're defending this objective. It's down to the 3 inside. Lionheart, Switch, and J-Lo. There's a good smoke right into the doorway, going to cause a little bit of chaos as Red X swings around, and we're into a 3v3.
Distorted's playing this pretty smart. He's clearing the roof first. He's not just going to dive down. He wants to make sure he doesn't have any company up there. Oh, Messino's on the objective. Oh, not quite.
Yeah, entry doesn't go exactly right. They do get a kill in a 1-for-2 trade, and Distorted still on the hunt on the roof. Almost finds Lionheart there, just misses those shots on the swing around, and now Distorted has to be a little bit careful about how he plays this. He has all the time in the world to work with 3.5 minutes, and him being right on top of objective. He doesn't have to rush this entry.
Yeah, he was just giving call-outs. I think he now realizes he's by himself, but... Oh, wow. Brings it down to a 1v1 after taking out Lionheart.
Almost has the angle there on Switch, but I think maybe he ran out of ammo when he was looking to take that shot? No, he's looking for a utility piece here. He's going to smoke the objective. That's a really good smoke, too. This should force, honestly, rotations out of Switch.
Oh, wow. And it started with a clutch.
A huge clutch. A really nice shot through the roof on the corner after also finding a similar kill there from the roof. Actually, two or three kills up from up top there. But a solid hold indeed. Against the 1v2 opportunity, and Raptors are bouncing back. This is what I love to see. This is why you tune into a Diamond tier matchup right here, Theta, because you know that both teams are very capable of winning and putting on a show.
In fact, I personally think the reason that these higher level matchups are so much fun to watch is because no matter what happens, the people that make it to this level, they don't give up. So they could be down 3-1, 3-0, whatever. They're going to fight the exact same way on the next round. They are not going to just fold it up and say, we're done, because if you like that, you're never going to reach a high level in any competitive game. So, no surprise here. Raptors were probably feeling not so great about those first few rounds, but brought it back. Now it's down to 2v2, or 2-2, and it's really still anybody's map at this point.
What a great back and forth so far, though. Glad to tune into this one, and a great way to spend the Saturday night. If you go to VRML.com, you can kind of have your own there's our own built-in multi-stream, so to speak. There is 6 channels of VRML esports action going live right now. I mean, it's a sight to behold. It's beautiful. I love to see so many people enthused about VR esports, and I mean, how could you not be when you have players playing so good like this? I mean, and you know what's great too? Across the board, the Onward skill level is pretty up there. They are, even at the bronze level, even at the entry level, that, you know, hell from above. The winners of the Orb tournament, they're a dedicated. These new squads are looking good too. I'm excited to watch any VRML action at this point, you know?
It's just a factor because now we just have so many people playing the game, and there are resources now. There's just so many teams, so many veterans to play with that, like you said, you can sort of turn your progression on warp speed in a way that you just couldn't in the past. So yes, even the lower tiers of the league, it's getting ugly down there in the sense that you're going to have a hard time moving up, because there are killers in every division now. I personally love it. I love to see this competitive progression.
Well, hey, with videos from yours truly, Theta, there's plenty of tutorial opportunities. There's plenty of ways to learn from the VODs that you have put out into the ethos. So maybe that's partially credited to you.
Yeah, maybe.
Either
Anyway.
way, yeah, action right out the gate. Hailfire swings in, scoops up Marksman, looking for an early aggressive defensive position on the roof, and that's going to bite Raptors in the butt just a little bit. Now, control of this middle building is in Ember's hands. They have the rooftop advantage, but oh, geez. Red X was going to be that one that could potentially threaten that roof position, but he goes down to a nice angle from Lion. Here comes the entry from Quokka. He's on objective. Messino doesn't see him here, and with a quick cap, Quokka gets the OBJ. Messino was prone, waiting patiently, doesn't hear the entry in the chaos of the suppressive fire. Wow, Ember takes sand.
Wow, I was not looking there at all. I was watching the fight between
Yep.
Switch and whoever else was over there. I don't remember the name. And then I just heard you say that Quokka's on the objective, and before I could even press my button to swing over there, it was over.
Oh, well, to that point, yeah, he got that code in incredibly quick. I mean, I'm very impressed with how quick some of these high tier teams can enter in a code. It's really mind-boggling. I mean, with the pressure on, when you get that opportunity, it's so rare. I've always said this. I think it's a skill worth practicing. I think it's worth going in to just a dead lobby and just punching in codes, getting used to getting the right numbers that you're looking for. Because when it comes down to it, if you can get a code in quick, it wins you maps.
It can win you matches, frankly. It's such an equalizer having a fast capper on the team. And I think at this level, pretty much everybody can cap, but like you said, there is such an advantage to having at least somebody on the team who can do it quickly. And some of them, like Quokka, for example, are so quick about it. It just boggles the mind how you can even put in numbers that quickly. I don't know how they do it. I'm not nearly that fast, but I've seen it happen many times. I know a lot of fast cappers like that. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's truly a impressive skill set to have. You have to memorize a 7-digit code, and then enter that in under pressure, where if you're even a little bit nervous and your hands are shaking, can impact how well you can enter in that code. So, it always is something I love to highlight when a code does get entered in quick, because, geez, I feel like we see it take 30 seconds more often than not at this point.
Yes, the mono cap is ubiquitous, but there are some people that are picking up on the fact that it is advantageous, and I've seen it. People will, like you said, go into a dead lobby and just practice that over and over and over again. And there's people using memory tricks so they can remember the code better. Like, people are getting real meta about capping now.
It's truly a skill worth practicing, and I almost wonder if you could be maybe not necessarily a great shot, but an effective capping tool, and still be recruited by a high level team. If you're a good capper, it would almost be something that should be sought out if it's something that is missing on your squad over good gun skills in a lot of cases. Either way, my rambling aside, we have action in front of us. Theta. We got Raptors versus Embers, map 2, with Ember. Did I say Raptor versus Embers? Raptors versus Ember. Oh, geez, and already.
Yeah, this is by far my favorite map to both play and cast. And having two teams like this who are already getting very spicy with each other, I'm quite excited about this. But Soldiers already goes down. Quokka just showing himself to be really the thorn in Raptors' side this match. Not only did he get the map-winning cap last round, but just consistently pushing and putting them into uncomfortable positions early in the map. Like Def Redux now stuck in the south, watching his back, not sure how far the flanker is going to take it, which is a smart move. You don't really want to keep going if you think there's somebody creeping up behind you.
Ooh, and a nice prone angle from VR Marksman as he scoops up this north defender. Switch has to rotate up, uses a utility to clear out the ledge there, and does push in to then challenge Marksman up next. Just as shots skim to his left, where if he had been at that angle, he would have been picked up again by Marksman. Ducks back down, and, well, now the north is technically available for entry.
Casino's creeping his way up from the horseshoe. Quokka is checking it occasionally. This could get dangerous for him, though, because if he keeps popping back and forth when Messino decides to peek out.
Yeah.
Messino
Yeah, like
might
that.
have the cover advantage there. Exactly. Yeah, he comes out a little too far. Messino taking his time, and if he gets distracted by this northern push, this could get bad for Quokka pretty quick.
It's going to come down to if Raptors tie things up nicely. If they do coordinate things well. There's a good long-range nade, comes up and over. The kill coming in from Lionheart onto Redux. Now it's going to come down to these three, Distorted, Marksman, and Massino, who is going to be challenging Quokka any moment here.
And Distorted is groaning through the north alleyway. Looking around to see if there's any kind of C4 or anything. Switch is playing the specialist. It looks like he does not have C4 on his chest as far as I can tell. But he still has a gun, and if Distorted doesn't check that corner, he's going to get shot.
Massino had the angle for a moment there as Quokka had dipped off. Then as soon as he drops out, Quokka peaks. It's truly the laws of Onward. There's the kill. On to Distorted, a trade at that. So maybe a bit of an opening here presenting itself. If Massino can time this up well with the killing of Quokka, and Marksman can push in from the north, it's going to be two dangerously close to objective. Well,
there's one. Lionheart coming back from the south. That's a good rotation. Yeah, if they have an accurate kill count now, they should know that nobody's coming in from the south, or at least very unlikely to be coming in from the south.
Lionheart nearly goes down there, peeking that corner. Mason is right here looking for the kill. He trades with one, and we're into a 1v1. Lionheart sends some rounds downrange into the north alley, confirms Masono's body, so no comms coming in there. And you have a minute 45. What do you do if you're Marksman?
It's a tough one, because if he sticks into this alley, he's getting funneled pretty hard into that one position. There's nowhere to run. If Lionheart has any kind of utility to use against him, he's going to be in trouble.
Wow, and in a trade, Ember, gets the W there. A solid hold from them, but geez, what a great attempt from Raptors. I mean, that was a 3v5 at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah. They're getting it down to the wire. It just seems like there's a lot of these situations where it's like 1v2, 1v1, and it's just not working out for them. Certain situations like that north alleyway trade we just saw, I mean, it's pretty much a coin flip. It's just a matter of who lands their shots first, because both of them were shooting accurately and they both went down, but Lionheart just a little bit faster, just a tiny bit faster, and that's the only difference that matters.
Wow. You love to see it, really, and then coming down to that 1v1 and taking that gunfight challenge. That was his option. I mean, it was really, that was it. He had to just take the challenge on that peak, get down towards objective, see who would win in the trade. Otherwise, he had to drop back, go down the stairs, come all the way in. You know, it would have been, I think, far too, he wouldn't have had enough time to do that rotation.
It was a tough situation. I don't think he really had a better choice. He could have tried to rotate, probably would not have had time for that. So he said, I'm just going to try and see if I can win, probably get into a trade. I'm sure he knew that was a possibility. and he almost got it. So I can't really fault him for that.
Deep breaths, boys.
Raptors certainly looking good here. I mean, gee, you want to talk about a team, like you said, new in Season 10 and just came in with a fire lit underneath them. And the fire lit underneath here as they do get the first kill. To play this well against Ember is impressive, and now to challenge on the defense like this on Subway, certainly how you want to start a round 2 after losing a close 1v1.
For sure. Raptors have not been playing poorly at all.
Oh no.
Just Ember's been playing better. That's the only difference.
It's been a very clean, fast Ember offense. And I mean, even then, you do see these attacks coming in pretty quick. Switch and Lionheart already here with 5 minutes left. It's only been a minute of time. Hailfire finds Marksman as they push in the north, and this defense is split. The C4 gets tossed. He has to detonate it before he can duck back around the corner. Gets the 1-to-1 trade. Switch is actually resible here, so Lionheart could pick him up. Masono and Soldiers trapped on the objective as utility and rifle bullets come flying their way, and now Masono in a 1v3 has to push the hallway. He goes down to a hail of fire. 2-0 for Ember.
That was brutal. And it distorted through that C4 and ended up taking himself out, insta-killed himself, and then downed that member of Ember. Yeah, that was just... And then Depth Redux in the south also, he just barely missed his C4 and thought he had a kill on somebody by shooting at him, but he didn't know there was a squad there, so his enemy's friend shot him. But, yeah, tough round, but not over yet. 2-0 is never the end of the world, especially if you got offense, you can maybe get a cap in. And Raptors are good at Subway. I've played with these guys in Subway. They know how to play it, so they are not out of this by any stretch.
Well, hey, we saw him bounce back from a 2-0 deficit on Sand pretty well. Then Ember seemed to collect themselves with a really nice offensive attack for that cap. But I would, like you said, they were playing very good on Sand, on Ember's map pick. This is Raptors' map choice. And so I think there's very much still a chance left here for Raptors to start to get some rounds under their belt. We have this north objective, or excuse me, south objective, which can be volatile pretty quick depending on the offensive spawn.
For sure, and this one is pretty capable, especially because this western alleyway, you know, people have kind of figured this out to their own chagrin, but you can cap from a spot where you cannot be seen on the other streets around it. So there's this little spot right next to the fence on my camera right now, and you can hang out there, and people, unless they are way out in the open, cannot see you. So it's kind of a dangerous objective, especially if you only have 1 or 2 left.
Getting that upstairs spawn in the north, they're going to be right on top of Lionheart and Hailfire if they play this one aggressively and look for a forward defensive setup. Hailfire is going to run right into this offense right away. Finds one. Masono now keyed into Hailfire's position, looks for the refrag, but it's a little bit too late, and Hailfire is tucked in.
Wow. We just hit the 20-second mark. Raptors have already lost somebody.
Jeez, Hailfire finds Masono now. That's 2 down. The push coming in here up this alleyway. Switch with a nice flash. Completely blinds Distorted and Soldiers. He peeks out and doesn't push his luck. Soldiers tucked into the darkness, almost able to spot him. Distorted with a good swing, finds the kill. J-Lo up next as the smoke comes in. This defense is a little bit away from objective. If they don't get back in time, there may be an opportunity here. Redux finds one on the flank. Another nade comes in, and Redux is holding off the attackers from getting a little bit over aggressive. Quokka goes down, and we're into a 2v2.
And here it is, this western alleyway. This is the real danger zone. J-Lo's locking that down. Yeah, always important to have somebody covering that on this objective. If you don't have western alleyway covered, you are going to have problems. So now 1v2. Both defenders in pretty good spots right now. Lionheart watching the back of J-Lo. And if Def comes around in this area, try and get a pick, Lionheart is in a great spot. He's not going to see him.
No, he is not. He is nicely positioned here in the darkness, too. One of the advantages of Volk on a map like this, when you do have some dark corners, you can really use it to your advantage and camouflage yourself a little bit. Def, I don't think, has any utility available to him. Maybe he does, actually, if he's pillaged his teammates. Yeah, he does seem to actually have a flash. I wonder if he has anything else there on his belt to use, but he could potentially get an entry point here into Lionheart if he does flash the street.
It looks like he's got a flash and a frag. So he could ID Lionheart and then frag him, maybe.
He's looking. He is looking. Lion's there, and as soon as Lion spots him, Redux does as well. But Ember come on top with the kills as J-Lo's still alive, defending objective. And, I mean, geez, 3 down in the first 30 seconds of that round.
Yep. This time it was Hailfire, but Ember is just terrorizing Raptors with that. They show up and get... If you get even one pick that early, even the strongest teams, they're going to get shaken by that, especially if it keeps happening. If it happens once, it's not pleasant, but if round after round they send a flanker out and you can't stop it, I don't know. It's hard to keep your confidence up in that point, because in this game, losing even one person's a big deal, especially when you're playing a good team. They know how to leverage that advantage most times. So I can imagine the Raptors are probably struggling with that. But again, even now, 3-0, map is not over. They have the Volk advantage right now. So they play good defense, maybe come back and get a cap, they can tie it up.
Absolutely. We're headed to that same objective. They have that opportunity, like you said, to cap as well if they do charge in here. And they do get that underground spawn, so they could very well just pop up from these stairs and provide a bit of a challenge to Marksman. If he is going to be the lone defender of this south entry point, which does seem to be the case.
Distorted plants a C4 on the corner right next to Horseshoe. That's a pretty good spot. I don't think people are going to look there. As long as they don't see the green light, it should be okay.
Marksman finds one early as J-Lo tries to come in from the south. Quokka sends his regards up to the corner. Can't find Marksman. Marksman swings up, has the opportunity for a double, but Switch able to shut that down. Continues with the aggression and then realizes, hey, I can dip back and get a res. Masono's here, maybe able to get the refrag. A nade comes in around the corner. A good flash. Both teams flash as Masono and Switch both drop off.
Wow, that was some real fortuitous timing there, because Messino was about to rush down and kill both of them, most likely on the staircase, but they flashed each other.
He's just going to take the peek now. Finds Quokka. Switch again on the Overwatch. Gets the kill, but this time no res available. Into a 3v3 as Distorted is sitting here looking. A nice pickup there. Switch to recognize him on the floor. Redux has to push up here now. Switch has Tablet out. Redux is going to swing on the corner. Gets him down. Shutting down the Ember 5-0 potential score line here in this round 4, but it's not over yet. We're into a 2v2.
That was so close. A pretty risky cap attempt, I have to say, but I understand the impulse. And I'm sure from Ember's perspective, even if they lose this round, they're still probably feeling pretty confident.
Yep.
But yeah, that would have been pretty crushing to lose that, having somebody standing out on the open and get a cap for a 5-0.
I think we caught the tail end of a nice play from Redux there, too. We had a Molotov where Hailfire is now, and I think he threw that to then... Oh, wow, a C4 detonated. I was wondering how he went down. I think he threw a Molotov on this lane to then swing around, get that capper on the corner. He came back then, and I think that C4 had been positioned earlier as he patiently waited for that peak. And then Lionheart nearly goes down as Redux takes his shots on another gander, and now they should have an accurate kill count, so Soldier is going to come and reinforce into this 2v1.
I don't know if this is intentional, but Def, at least on my screen, appears to be proning between two bodies. I know bodies are rendered client side, so it might look different for you, and it might look different for him, but that would be quite a tactic if you get away with that.
Yeah, we have seen some fake dead corpses be implemented as strategies. I think so. I think it just happened in this first week already. But yeah, certainly a potential strategy there. Soldiers here, seen this angle before.
Yes, this is giving me deja vu for sure. But that's a really powerful spot. Even if they figure out you're there, it's hard to deal with.
Oh, Lionheart has a double almost lined up. Redx was nearly shot there on that swing.
Yeah, I guess I couldn't see Soldier's perspective from his headset, of course, but I thought they saw each other as Lionheart was going around there, but he just kept going. So apparently not. Just some unfortunate timing.
I think he stood up from his prone, and as he was standing up from that prone, he missed that movement in the corner of his eye.
You're right.
Oh, wow, and look at this rotation. Lionheart just misses Redux, tucking back into this corner.
It's the right move to make because he was outside the West Alley before, and he could have been capped on from there. Minute 40 left.
Wow.
Oh, he misses his shots. Dang. Well, that's a match Ember then.
Indeed it is. Ember securing the series with a 4-0 on Subway, and now they go to their final map pick to really try and run away with this one and take all of the points in this first game of their season 11. If you're Raptors, geez, it's tough. They've like they've been saying, they've been playing good. They've been bringing Ember down into 1v1s, 2v1s, keeping things close, but it's tough. They have to come into this third map looking for a win.
Yeah, that's kind of the other mark of the higher tier teams is you cannot give up on the third map even if you lost the first two. You need that MMR. Especially at those rankings, you want to maintain your position in the top 15 or so. You have got to take every map seriously. Whether you win or lost, won or lost the first two maps, it doesn't really matter. You have to take every single map seriously. And I suspect we'll see that. But yeah, I think Ember just played a fantastic game. I don't think that Raptors played poorly. I think Ember was just on fire tonight. Pardon the pun. But yeah, I just think it was them playing extremely well tonight.
They looked so clean on their pacing. They were so fast to get to the objective. I think on this map, we're going to see some similar sort of offensive dives, if you will, where they just send their full force of their offense straight at the objective. They executed those strategies so well to be able to get up to objective like that and find that cap on sand. I mean, that's it just goes to show you how diligently you have to hold your objective area and make sure that no one comes in, because you can't even let up for a second.
Nope. At this tier, everybody is a killer, and it's the little things that make the difference more than anything. And you cannot relax, to your point, for even a moment, because the other team will take advantage of it in a heartbeat.
Get one of our, we talked about it. We have new maps in the map pool, but even on the old familiar objectives, we got new, old familiar maps, excuse me, we got new objectives. This being one of the new ones here on Bazaar, and it was, what we really haven't seen here? There's a lot of smokes on objective. Smokes are back this season. I was figuring we'd see, the standard heavy smoke on OBJ, cap under smoke sort of play.
Sure. I agree. I don't know how to explain it, but I would think there would be a little bit more smoke usage. Maybe we'll see it on Bazaar. Now, there we go. Right as I say that, Switch throws out a smoke. A bunch of Ember players throw out smokes.
Oh, and here's the push coming in. An aggressive defense from Soldiers shuts down the north rotation. Lionheart finds a couple in the midfield, and now the defense on objective looking a little bit light. Redux and Marksman there, but no one really has an eye on the objective right now.
Well, the thing is that Quokka's coming from the south. Marksman, the only southern defender, and if Quokka takes him, that objective is open. And there it is. I mean, if Quokka... Look, if Quokka gets on that tank, this is a cap.
Oh, Quokka, Lionheart, J-Lo, Switch, they're all right here, getting ready to get up to that objective. He's here. Redux, I think, recognizes this. Soldiers swinging. The cap comes in. Soldiers was right there, nearly shut it down, but, I mean, this is what Ember does. This is what they've been doing. They are really... no smokes either. You know, Season 10, we got rid of the smoke grenade, you know, and a lot of people thought it was sort of a too big of a shift in meta, and that, you know, as soon as smokes would get re-implemented, they would be utilized again. But I think some of these squads have recognized the value of stealth, of getting just kills with your rifle and staying quiet. Smokes are in some ways almost a flare of where you are, you know, and where you're going to be. And so if you have Quokka there to just get a kill, sprint up to objective and punch a code in, you don't need a smoke to cover him while he does it.
And he just threaded his way through the defense perfectly. They found the one fold of the defense which was vulnerable, which is the south. They had one person down there, and Quokka found him, took him out, and then from the south, you can just get on the tank and cap, just like Quokka did. So you cannot leave the south exposed like that. And Ember punished him for it, plain and simple.
Yeah, maybe a lesson learned for the likes of Raptors. And I mean, hey, if you're looking back on the VOD, that's exactly what it is. You're going to recognize that you stacked the North a little bit too heavily on this, again, new objective to Bazaar. And it can, if that happens, it can get punished. To that point, Quokka is stacking the defense up here in the North, and that doesn't work out for him. Distorted finds the kill, and we're seeing a very similar push from Raptors as they're already up into Blue Room. This time, they're going to throw out some smokes onto objective. Smoke doesn't deny vision. It does, but Distorted, warned off from those warning shots, if you will. Hellfire does find Distorted trying to rotate back in through that back Bazaar area. Now Soldiers maybe challenging Hellfire soon enough. As he tries his hand at rotating up into the North. He's got to watch out for Switch, who did have an angle, but he ducks back as he's patiently waiting to hear anything of a south rotation. And Soldiers and Hailfire are going to be into a battle soon enough over here on this side. Soldiers really just trying to quick clear through this far east side of the map.
One thing I've been noticing throughout this match is, we talked about this early, Ember is a very aggressive team, just kind of known for having that character. Raptors are too, but they are playing way more conservatively than I was expecting. They've never been reckless, to say the least, but I'm just surprised, like even on this round, they are really taking their time. Hailfire gets Soldiers right next to the objective. Now 3v4.
Yeah, and I think, one of the differences is the coordination. While the chaos is unfolding in the north, there's a push happening in the south for the likes of Ember. Raptors have even the odds here. They're into the 3v3. A nice pickup from Marksman on that longer south rotation. Maybe they can find themselves an entry straight up the middle from Masono, but we'll see. They have a lot of time, and to the point of playing fast, they don't have to really at all anymore because they have an additional minute from what they're used to in Season 10. These are 6-minute timers now, so a lot of time to work with. And we've really not seen any of it get utilized today in any of these rounds.
Oh, I think Marksman might be crashing. He's not moving at all. As his model is stuck. I hope he comes back because that would be a really unfortunate loss.
Yeah, he was in a... Yeah, he's gone. He was in a strong position, but yeah, that is going to be lost now. Masino and Redux going to have to be the lone two to challenge. I don't know. Maybe... yeah, with Hailfire here covering it, I don't think there's really a angle that they can push up and cap like Quokka did.
No. Lionheart is in a great position to check that. I don't think you can be fully on the opposite side of the tank and cap. I think you have to be at least a little on the rear of the tank. And if that's the case, then Lionheart will have an angle if somebody creeps in from over there. But even then, Hailfire is watching the opposite side. So this is a pretty good defense for 3 up, I would argue.
Just got to stay disciplined on your coverage there. Hailfire, ooh, peeking up. Doesn't spot the barrel of Masino poking around the corner there. Had a potential angle. Ducks back in. Switch right here could also scoop up Masino. He's not peeking out around the edge. And now we'll find Masino's back exposed. Down goes one more for the Raptors offense, and it's all down to Redux in a 1v3. Certainly doable.
Well, he's going to have information on Switch now. He heard shots come out to take out Masino, and now Switch is running around quite a bit. He should hear those footsteps. So that's at least one defender he'll have information about. Lionheart may very well be poking himself out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he looked away at just the wrong moment. Oh, that is some unfortunate timing.
I mean, real classic Onward for you, you know?
Yeah. The iron law of iron law of Onward is the moment that you look away from your angle, somebody crosses that angle.
Like, I'm sure as soon as Switch drops off of here, Redux is going to peek. And, oh, actually, Redux does get the kill. Switch was there, ready and waiting, but Redux with a quick heal has control of Blue Room.
It's running out of time now, though. 35 seconds.
Oh, and Hailfire with a great peek up over the ledge. Catches him just under the barrel of the tank. And Ember do push it up 3-0. Almost, though. I mean, really, he had the right idea. To your point, he was running out of time. The smoke was placed to deny vision from that north defense, but ultimately just not enough with so many different angles you have to be wary of. And, I mean, really, like your point, not playing it necessarily fast enough. If he had sort of just gone straight up to that tank, he could have utilized the tank for cover, could have been really close to objective, forced some defensive rotations, could have been a bit of a different attack.
Yeah, and I have to say, too, losing Marksman that way was just so brutal because they could have had 2-on-2 there. Def took out that one defender right next to him. Yep. Marksman could have been encircling around the other side to take care of Lionheart at the very least, and that could have upped their chances of taking that round, but the Onward God said no, and Def was left on his own that round.
The unfortunate reality of being a online league is that you have to deal with the potential chance of disconnects and, you know, online issues, and you just have to play through if that's the case, and it's what they did. They nearly came back from that loss, but ultimately Raptors couldn't get on the board yet. They still can as they go on the defense, although this objective with a fast spawn from Ember, this could be bad news.
Certainly. Yeah, and there are some teams that really specialize in rushing this objective. They just dump smokes and then surround you. I've been on the losing end of that on multiple occasions. It's not fun. And already Quokka sprinting. Oh, but Marksman catches him before he can get anywhere.
Oh, Distorted catching one from a nice angle as well. Just like that, we're into a 3v3 as tries to swing out looking for a little bit more. No one deciding to push up through Kayat as Switch and JLo, who's up on the 2-story, are relatively safe from combat for now.
It turned into a 3v3 within the first 20 seconds. Seems to be a pattern in this match.
Seriously fast play coming in from this Ember offense. Quokka, I mean, like you said, he was trying to sprint straight to objective and punch it in again.
Yep. Yeah, he's known for that on this map in particular. He famously ran through Kiat and capped on us last season. Just bald sprint. Like, he did the one thing that everybody was thinking nobody would ever do this, and that's how he gets those kinds of plays under his belt. Because you don't expect somebody to just rush into your objective and cap, but Quokka has turned that into an art form.
Lionheart finds one on the north. Switch making entry into objective Bazaar. Marksman here hears these footsteps and is prompted to go on to a bit of a rotation and a bit of a too long one. Switch now here as Masino drops off. Switch pad out, punching in the code. Marksman here just in time. A nade comes in. Does it? Is it a nade? What was that? I don't know what that was. Masino now poking up in the north. I didn't see any detonation. Lionheart doesn't go down. Marksman defends. Raptors want to get on the board here. They're into a 2v1.
And it's fantastic to see that they are not giving up the fight. That almost ended right there. Switch had tablet out.
Yep.
Could have very easily been a cap, but Marksman came in at just the right moment and took him out. Now we're down. Now they are down to a favorable 2v1, and they could start a comeback here. It's always possible.
Curious what Lionheart's plan is. He does challenge, and Masino finds the shot over the roof of the truck. A 3-1 game here for map number 3. Raptors not going down without a fight. As I mean, you want to talk about being able to hold. I mean, what I really like to see here at Theta is that's Raptors truly adjusting to what they've been seeing. They found Quokka there. They weren't surprised he was there pushing aggressively. He was killed relatively quickly. I mean, they were ready for that quick entry from Ember.
Exactly. And for somebody that plays really fast like that, the defense is to just get to a line where you know they have to cross it and then just wait.
Yeah.
And if you try and confront them in that exact same spot, you're probably going to lose, especially somebody that plays that way all the time. They're just really good at that. And that's what they did last time. They waited for him to come to that spot. It was pretty out in the open in Kiat, and the moment he crossed that line, they took him out. That's how you have to deal with people like Quokka and other fast flankers and attackers.
Pro tips from the one and only Theta VR. Take those to heart. Final, well, what could be the final round? I don't want to say that yet, because Raptors certainly have proven that they are capable of giving this Ember squad a run for their money. They did so pretty well on Sand, getting things close to a 2-2. Had a tough bout there on Subway, but even now, they're still fighting in a 3-0 deficit. They've gotten a point on the board, and with a slow spawn, I wonder what the approach is going to be.
That's a good question. Well, they have to be thinking that if they lose this point, Soldiers takes out Hailfire, and that hit at exactly the 25-second mark. So pattern continues.
Wild.
But they have to know that, yeah, they can't lose a point, so they're going to play it a little more conservatively.
Little exchange of fire between Distorted and Switch there. Soldiers is rushing up to Blue Room. They'll be challenging JLo. Quokka on a bit of a hectic push out. Very far away from objective as Soldiers finds one in Blue Room. Objective dangerously explodes. Raptors may have a cap opportunity on their hands here. Quokka finds Masino, so he is doing work on the flank, but Distorted is here on objective. Another smoke comes in. Quokka rotating back to reinforce into the 3v2, and no push coming in when they need it most.
And Quokka is just not being seen through that smoke. his soldiers was looking right at him. His laser was hitting him, but I think the smoke was just blinding him. Oh, Distorted takes out Quokka. Oh, he could either... There is an opportunity here for a cap if he just plays this carefully.
I think Lionheart has the line, though. He has that angle that Distorted has to cross if he wants to punch in that code. Marksman is swinging around from the backside, though. Marksman could be the distraction that they need on Lionheart. Well, I guess the kill works, right? With Marksman alive in the back. They have won another round, keeping this close, 3-2.
Yep, and of course you want to tie it up as quickly as you can with a cap if possible, but you also don't want to blow your chance at a comeback by recklessly trying to cap. So, like you were saying, he had the angle covered. I think Distorted probably knew that, and he did the right thing and came out and challenged him with shots instead of trying to cap. And now Raptors can play defense. Although, boy, what an objective to get for this particular situation. Kiat, easily the most volatile objective in the entire game, much less this map. And somebody like Quokka, who has made it an art form to just rush in on Kiat and cap right under everybody's noses. I'd love to see how Raptors deal with this.
Will be interesting. There's a lot of momentum on their side right now. Kayat, though, it just is not a fun one to defend. And I mean, if you want to talk about ways to play this one, you can certainly dump smokes and play it quick. So maybe another quick play coming in here from Ember as we get into, again, match point, but Raptors battling back.
Let me see it. 6,200. Okay.
31.9. That one rolls off your tongue.
So, got a southwest spawn. And Quokka already making his way. Soldiers takes out his support. And Def takes out Lionheart already. Yeah, like 20 seconds. We already lost people. The pattern continues.
Quokka hasn't stopped sprinting. He's here.
Quokka's on objective. Quokka's tablet out. This is going to be 5 points. Wow. 5 up. 5 up cap. And J-Lo knifes Hailfire for good measure.
I mean, I think the appropriate response was right there from the likes of Ember. Just arms up. What the heck? You know, they're all defending. Everything's going good. A couple of kills come in, and Quokka just doesn't stop holding forward. He doesn't stop sprinting. I just tracked him the whole way there. He straight sprints to objective and punches in the code, and you got to be careful of things like that. Teams are honing in this strategy of threading needles through defense, and it's so hard. It really is hard for a defense to make sure they've plugged all the holes. But wow, what a wild finish, and I guess really on par for the series, right?
Yeah, Quokka, what was that? 3 caps this series? Just unbelievable. And before anybody gets too harsh on the Raptors about that, I've been on the other end of that before. A 5-up cap from Quokka on that exact objective. Trust me, it's harder to shut down than you think. You think, oh, just shoot the guys running straight at objective. But especially when you already hear shots going off, you see people coming in from other directions, it's easy to get distracted. So it's not just dumb luck or anything. Like, Quokka knows what he's doing. He's a very skilled player. Yes. And even really skilled defenses have a hard time dealing with him. That says a lot about how good he is.
Well, I think one thing we can certainly say is that this Ember team is looking quite good in Season 11, at least in this first week. They've come out the gate swinging and given Raptors a tough time. Raptors also looking good. I'm looking forward to see how they evolve and continue to grow, because now is the real challenge. They've managed to get up and compete in that top 20, but now it's really, how do you break into the top 10? How do you start to stand out as a squad amongst such competitive teams in the VRML? And I'm really looking forward to what we get out of the rest of this season, because it is going to be filled with all kinds of shifting strategies and metas. So an exciting one for sure for us to tune into. I don't know if there's any other games live now. The unfortunate reality there, but there certainly has been quite a few dang good plays in today's series. I mean, oh, the highlight reel not working. It's from an old game. A couple of great kills coming in though, and I'm happy to be tuning in to this series to watch it. Appreciate everyone that was dropping by. If you did hit that follow button, please remember to. We'll be we'll be dropping you off to another VRML stream because, like I've been saying, there's plenty of them live. It may be Echo Arena, as I do think the Onward VRML 2 stream is also just wrapped. They had an equally fast matchup. But overall, a great series. Theta, any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
No, I just agree. I think this is going to be the best season of Onward we've ever had, and it's a privilege and an honor to be able to cast it. So thank you to everybody who tuned in.
Yeah, I can't agree more with that. That'll be it from us here on the desk. My name has been NightFiree with 2 E's, my co-caster Theta. A quick shout out to all of our sponsors: HyperX, Asterion, Rebuff Reality, ProTube VR, VR Cover, Cyber Shoes, B Haptics, and VRware, all coming together to sponsor this league and provide what is a good prize pool to compete for at the end of the day. So, like I said, looking forward to Season 11. Cannot wait. Hit that follow button. Tune in here for more action next week. But like I said, that'll be it from us. We'll see you all in just a few days.